We do have a guest in studio, and thank you very much, Minister, Water Affairs Minister, Sanitation Minister Senzo Mchunu. You're here at the Policy Conference. We're hearing lots of lofty ideals and big words thrown about, but at the end of the day, this party has 2 years to win back the trust of the electorate. The ANC is at a crossroads. In fact, even in the documents, it talks about an existential crisis for the party. And yet, at the same time, we are still seeing, for example, the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, your province, saying this step-aside rule doesn't work. It needs to be scrapped. And for many South Africans, they see the step-aside rule as a clear sign that the ANC is holding people accused of corruption and other crimes accountable. How do you understand a call like that?
Well, look, part of what is good about being a member of the ANC, which has attracted people over years, is freedom to speak and express your mind, particularly as an individual, but in whatever group or structure that you have liberty to do. But responding directly to your question, we've done surveys over quite some time, leading to the elections in 2019, leading to elections in 2021. And those surveys, some of them were internal, some of them were from external people who were conducting them. And they both converge on one thing. This is apart from the statistics that show you a decline in all provinces, nationally, in local government, and just despite that, but it shows you that people are quite concerned about corruption. Now, let me just, from where I sit on corruption, you go to the branches of the ANC in a ward, you hardly hear of someone being corrupt at a branch level, ordinary members of the African National Congress, including in my branch where I come from. I haven't heard people pointing a finger that, you know, Senzo, that one is corrupt, an ordinary member of the branch. But go to local government, those who are councillors, those who are inside, then fingers start pointing. You see so and so. You go to the provincial government, you go national. Yeah. The finger, you know, becomes much... 200
members of the ANC mentioned in the Zondo report on state capture, you know. So you're right. I mean, we've got a real problem here.
The finger ANC points upwards. It doesn't point downwards. It doesn't say, who are these members of the ANC, ordinary members who are corrupt here? It points upwards. Those who hold positions in government at these spheres of now, you don't need to go and study this thing. It is there. It's factual. Now, number two, what as members of the ANC who are here, and as we debate this with all the rights and so on, we must be aware of is that this has nothing much to do with the dynamics inside ourselves, the divisions and the tensions that it causes. That we must manage aside. Yeah. But we must mind that we are too small to govern with our numbers internally. With the bulk of our support comes from outside, even of our membership. And therefore, you mustn't talk and listen to yourselves inside.
Too inward-looking.
Because you are not voted by yourselves. You are voted by people outside. It's a fact.
Can I just butt in very quickly? There's something pressing that we do need to take very quickly, and then we will continue with the conversation. We don't want you to go anywhere, Minister. Please do stand by for us. We'll come back. Let's go to eNCA's Govan Whittles, who has been tracking the discussions with delegates and the various commissions that have been taking place. Govan, I believe that you have a guest that you are ready to engage with at this point.
I do, Tula Sizwe, and the ANC's Commission on Balance of Forces just presented an outline of their discussion and interesting points made there regarding why the ANC is losing support, particularly in the urban centers. Thabang Makwetla was making that presentation. He joins us now for a quick interview. Mr. Makwetla, you were saying that South Africans have been relegated to the margins of the economy because mostly foreign national employment is found in the urban cities, and because of that, the ANC is losing support. It sounds like you're blaming foreign nationals for the ANC's loss of support in the cities.
No, it is actually the reality of what everyone is observing, that a huge slice of South Africa's population, especially the traditional urban dwellers who constituted the industrial working class of our country, are today jobless. When you talk of the high levels of joblessness, it is those townships, the traditional townships, your Soweto, Tembisa, Katlehong, Kwamashu, where you drive around and you see houses where you can tell that there's no income that's going into that house. No one is employed there. So it is happening because of the logic of the capitalist market. South Africa's business community and the capitalists within our economy, it makes sense for them to always look at ways of optimizing their profits. And one of those, of course, is cutting on labor expenditure in their operations. And it is the non-nationals, and in the majority, those who are not documented, who provide cheap labor.
There is no consensus on whether or not foreign nationals taking up jobs in South Africa is causing that mass unemployment. But besides that, why do you then believe that's what's causing the ANC to lose support?
There will not be support for the ANC if there are no incomes in families, if people can't put bread on the table, if people are living out of grants that the government is providing, when they are used to be very proud citizens, proud because they could do things for themselves. There's no way that they would be happy with their condition. It's, I think, common logic. Labor gives people dignity. Labor bestows confidence in people. You remain unemployed for prolonged periods, for years, you actually end up losing confidence in yourself. So,
but Mr. Makwetla, you were presenting the Balance of Forces discussion document, and it now appears that the ANC believes foreign nationals are part of the balance of forces that have caused its decline in the elections. Is this an affront on foreign nationals? Is this not xenophobic?
No, the document is not just only talking about the high levels of joblessness, which is partly, we are not saying it is caused by a non-national, we are saying that is one of the important factors. And for as long as government does not take cognizance of it, to find a proper regime to control South Africa's labor market, the problem will continue. It is not something that is even radical or new. That's how the whole world drifts. Labor markets are controlled by all countries. It's just a convention. And to have a situation where our labor market is not controlled, we are just creating a problem. But that is not the only problem. The other problem, of course, is that our economy, it's growing very marginally for some time now. And as it is growing marginally, there are new entrants into the labor market. Every year there are students who are completing their studies, they are training, they are looking for jobs. The economy is not providing those. All
right, I'll have to leave it there, Mr. Makwetla. We're almost out of time, but Nceba Mhlawuli is also the convener for the National Youth Task Team of the ANC Youth League. Now, Nceba, which policies would you guys as the ANC Youth League then introduce to try and create a situation where the balance of forces shifts back into the ANC's favor?
Well, one of the things that we've been told is that the ANC has become unattractive to young people. And you would have seen that with the outcomes of the elections, where young people were saying that the makeup of the ANC does not look like them, therefore they feel as though they can't relate to the ANC. And precisely for that reason, we've said that part of the organizational renewal, agenda that we are speaking about must center young people, in the structures of the organization. The president also mentioned that we need a new cohort of young people that will take over leadership positions of the ANC. He even used the word to say there needs to be a refurbishment of the organization with young people. And
I'll have to leave it then, Nceba. We are out of time. You'd notice that another briefing is starting behind us. That'll be the presentation of the discussion document on organizational renewal presented by Phoebe Potgieter, member of the ANC National Working Committee.
All right, that is eNCA's Govan Whittles there outside and having a few conversations. My apologies for that. We just needed to dispense with that, Minister. If I can just take the opportunity then and the advantage, Sal, before you continue. Minister, there's a sense, let me not say overwhelming, but a distinct sense out there that says you as the ANC are fiddling while Rome burns. We are sitting here talking to step aside or not to step aside when the South Africans, average South African is thinking the money that is meant to improve the lives of people is being stolen, and these people in the ANC don't seem to be holding one another to account. That's one. Right now, we just had this incident in Krugersdorp, which is a reminder of the kind of crime situation that we are dealing with. And here we are. You as the ANC are talking about the lumpen proletariat. You have regaled us with the whole Taliban's, Adiwele, Krizani brigades, etc. How does it feel to fiddle while Rome burns?
Well, all I can say is that we need to soap up because this is a governing party in a society like South Africa where there are many dynamics. What I get when I go around is that people are not demanding double stories. They are not demanding high roads and all of that. They are demanding simple but very important life-supporting things like roads, like water, like electricity, like being cared for and protected. As you refer to Krugersdorp, what happened in Krugersdorp, they are demanding those issues that we focus on them. Now, you are saying we're fiddling. You may be hearing this and that, but that's not exactly what we're here for, and that's not exactly what we're doing inside. We are talking, and there are going to be commissions tomorrow, and those commissions are going to be conducted properly. And people will be expected to speak sense and not to be excited and then to be taken to the sideways about this and that, emotional issues, as it were. While you can express something emotional, but at the end of the day, you need to cool down and come down and say, you have a government in South Africa which has earned the trust of the people over years. Those times when we're not in government, when you were led by people like Mandela, people like Raymond Nhlaba, people like Ahmed Kathrada, and all of those people were seen to be trustworthy. They were seen to be having an ear to you. They were identifying with what worried people most than any other thing. Now, if we shift more and more from those things, the feelings of people on the ground, not so much, yes, feelings of the ANC, but look, feelings of the public count much more in holding you in office, keeping you in office, than your own internal feelings. And therefore, you rather you rather stop fiddling, you rather hear the sounds and really wake up to the call. And I so wish that when we get to commissions tomorrow, we really cool down, sober up, and listen to the public outside ourselves and our structures, and then do what we're expected to do.
You spoke about the need for the party to sober up, and we were chatting, and you were actually alluding to the fact that at times the ANC is just too inward-looking and therefore out of touch with the real needs of people on the ground. You spoke also of, and we've heard this often, that the ANC is a broad church, contestation of ideas, we can all come together. At what point do we get to a stage where it's not contestation, and I think Ibrahim Fakir made this point last night, it's actually contradiction, and in some cases deliberate obstruction? We've seen that Cyril Ramaphosa is saying the right things about corruption. We've also seen some action on the part of our law enforcement authorities to arrest people and bring them to trial. But at the same time, there does seem to be a significant pushback within the ANC against some of those things. So how frank and open and non-defensive are the different factions within the party prepared to be this weekend?
Someone called Berg says something very interesting. He says the issue about evil, the issue about doing wrong things, is something that would happen anytime. But what makes the difference, what makes evil grow and grow, what makes corruption even grow and grow, and actually consume everything, even cause the state to fall, is when those good people amongst ourselves keep quiet. And then they allow it just to flourish and then become the face of whatever. They become the evil and wrongdoing and corruption defines everything about. Now, we are here, and therefore I acknowledge that there are all those things, there are all those issues, but somewhere, leadership at all levels, not just national, must draw the line. Must draw the line and say, and we made progress in 2020 and last year discussing. It was the first time from August 2020 up to March 2021 that we said ourselves, look, let us introduce measures internally that will talk to us when we cross the line. All along it was going to the stadium address, and then we don't want corruption. The ANC is fighting corruption, but in the evening we turn right. We talk right, and then we turn left. But it was the first time that this matter was brought to the table inside the ANC in the manner that it happened.
Yeah.
This shows that we're making progress, and we just have to stick there.
Sadly, Minister, we do have to end it here. I have so many questions for you. I could